What do you think? We got houses are in somewhat good shape. Some of them are pretty crappy. Kind of a in-between neighborhood here. I mean, they're doing their laundry out in the line, whatever. It's okay. Houses are. It's a tough one. You know, you kind of it's risky. Could be risky. I mean, look at this house. Very, very good shape. But you know, the neighbors are not. So it's a risky one. But the situation with this 528 East Boston is, we're coming for dinner, is, you know, we have a blind tenant in there. The current owner is, lives in Florida, wants to sell it. He has several properties. And, hey, he called me. I guess he saw a Craigslist ad and is asking me to buy it. So I'm kind of like, maybe, you know, I don't know. So it's 528 East Boston. It's kind of on the south side, kind of in a risky area. Avondale, if you see my other videos, is the next street over. We have that house there. So it's kind of like street by street. The houses are good and some are bad. So with this one, we got a tenant in there blind, $400 in rent, has lived there for 7 years. Need to, you know, keep that into account. Motivated seller down in Florida, and you know, wants to dump it. And you know, I just keep getting them down. I'm like, dude, I could possibly buy it if the tenant stays there, but you know, there's a lot of different variables here. I mean, you're not in the best part of Youngstown. We're in the south side. This isn't the west side, man. And you know, it's risky for me. So, because you have to look at it like, hey, okay, there's a tenant there, lives 7 years, you know, probably live there till they die or whatever. But, you know, what if they move or whatever? You know, it'd be pretty difficult to get a new tenant in there because this isn't the best part of town, and not too many people want to live here. So that's the problem. And then looking at the house, it's not in the best shape, but you know, I don't need to do anything to it because people already live in it. So that's that.
So
I think 12 is satisfactory.
is there any?
I think people calling to buy houses at 25 grand.
Oh yeah.
What are you coming up with that?
Yeah.
I'll get $600 a month. Is there
Yeah. Yeah.
Where do you guys come from? Do you think 25 bucks a door ain't gonna happen?
Yeah. I would just wonder if there's any more leeway at all that you can go from off the 12.
Say it again?
I just wonder if there's any leeway at all to save them.
No, I'd rather, sir, I'd rather probably stay at 12. At least I get back, I put in 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And I get my original investment back, and I'm moving on. I think what I've made for the last 6 years as rental income as my profit.
Right.
Let's move on.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You
All right.
know I paid 68. Joe, you know I paid 68. You looked at it.
Right,
So
right.
I was lying here. You know.
Okay, yeah. Let me think about it for a day and get back to you, man.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm here in Canfield at the next step with purchasing a rental property. I got to get insurance on your property. So I'm sitting here with David Moliterno with Moliterno Insurance, and he's going to kind of walk us through why it's important to you know, to have insurance on your rental property. I kind of noticed that even if you're like a wholesaler with properties, you know, just selling a note, you actually want to insure that as well for the 30 days because you never know what could happen. So it's important to do that too, not even if you're just owning the property. So, hey, what's up, Dave?
Hey, Joel.
Just another step in the process here. When you're grabbing a you know, rental property, you got to get it insured. So
Absolutely.
what I guess kind of go over the coverage that, you know, I have with a couple of the properties that I have with you.
So just to start out, you know, you have what's called a rental owner policy. Each company might call it their own different thing, but it's going to be dwelling coverage, not necessarily personal property. So you're covering the building, you're not necessarily covering what's inside the building. That's a lot of time that's up to the renter or the tenant to then carry their own coverage, because it's their property. As the as the landlord, you don't want to have to be responsible for all of that. But when you're looking at your rental owner policy, there's two different ways that there's two different types of perils. There's like a named peril, which it's going to go through and say these are the things, fire, storms, whatever's named in that policy. Those are going to be the things that you are insured against. And then you might have like an all peril or special peril. Those are going to be, and depending on how the company words that, but it's going to be more broad on what's covered.
It's kind of on me how much kind of want to buy with insurance, and how much the property's worth to me, essentially, and how much to cover.
That's up to the policy holder. What do they want covered? Do they want just fire? Do they want more than that covered? If there's there's even separate policies for earthquakes, for floods, flood insurance. That's actually regulated by by the state. It's all the federal actually is what regulates that. So they designate this as a flood zone, and they'll say you have to have flood insurance in that zone. You can purchase it if you're outside of a flood zone just to have extra protection, but so like earthquake, flood. There's actually what's called mine subsidence. That's going to be covering in case you are built on top of a mine. Certain counties in the state actually require that coverage.
Hello, sir.
Great to see you.
Good to see you. Walking me through this real quick?
Sure.
Kind of like what this means?
Yeah.
So this is the HUD statement?
That's the HUD statement.
Okay.
And those are the cost of closing.
Okay.
Sellers and buyers.
Gotcha. Sellers and buyers. All right.
Okay, what we do for bookkeeping is we get the sale price plus the closing cost. Total amount I need to close. This is a credit for the taxes for the first 3 months of this year.
Okay.
We're paying the taxes for the last half of 2016 from sellers funds
Gotcha.
and giving you a credit, what they call a tax proration.
Got it. Okay.
Okay? And it's going into the name of Heartland
Property Group.
Property Group, LLC.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Okay.
Do you have any questions?
Very quick process, and
I want
very
you to
honest
sign
man
that
here.
if you will.
Yes, sir. Too easy. How long have you been doing this?
41 years.
41 years.
I'm a
Wow.
rookie.
Hey, so that was an interesting ride, going through step by step, the buying of a rental property. So I'm going to go, reiterate step by step each of the paperwork that was involved as I went through the process of purchasing this property. That even that little 21-year-old Wayne can do this on his own and have no fear. So Wayne, no fear, man. Okay, so first off, Joe the plumber saw one of my bandit signs or Craigslist ad, said, "Hey Joel, I have a property, I'd like to sell." So he called me. I looked up the property on Zillow or whatever, then drove by it. And, after some strenuous negotiating, a little humor and playfulness involved, we came to terms and agreed upon a price. So with that being said, he actually lived in Florida, so I had to email him the 3 necessary documents to move on with the process. So I had to create a purchase and sale agreement, which all it entails is just the price, obviously, and then any terms. Is the furniture staying? Is the refrigerator staying? Or going? Is the tenant, going to continue living there? Those sorts of things. So you just go over those terms. When is closing? Once you complete all that, both of you sign it. You'll also need to complete a residential property disclosure form, which all that entails is just what's in the property. Is it 3-bed, 2-bath? Is it a ranch? Is it a 2-story? It just kind of gives a disclosure and description of the property. So once he does that to the best of his ability, he signs it, I sign it. We're good to go there. Next is the lead-based paint form, which all that is saying, is there any lead-based paint products in the house? If not, we're good to go. If so, when was that? When did it happen? That sort of thing. So once he signs that, those 3 forms, we're good to go. I send that to title, which is in this case Attorney Leone at City Title. Mr. Leone sees the price that we agreed upon, goes over any back taxes, any unpaid water bills, that sort of thing, and then he creates a HUD statement, which you saw in the videos, which is that, which also shows kind of credits to the buyer, the seller, the price we agreed upon, that sort of thing, the taxes on the property. Once he creates that, I go to the bank, I get a cashier's check, or you can wire funds to the title company, whichever you prefer. Then you're good to go there. You then receive a deed from the title company, the keys, I guess, and you're good to go. And then remember, a very important thing is make sure you have insurance on the property during this process, and then also when you have the property, so you're insured. And that's where, I was with David, got the insurance on the property, and my brothers and I are secure. So, with that being said, I walk you through step by step the process of purchasing a house.